Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Yes, I'm back. Tonight is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. This is live stream 975. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out, talk about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then either take a first look at a game or I share a live review. Well, tonight we are going to keep our Free League Publishing Week rolling along. Bet you didn't know that was going on. If you don't follow me on social media, you wouldn't know. But yes, it is Free League Publishing Week here at the Gaming Gang, and tonight we are going to dive on in and take a first look at Vaesen, the Lost Mountain Saga from the aforementioned Free League Publishing. This is hitting stores on Halloween. Ooh, spooky kids, spooky. So we're diving on in. I am really looking forward to taking a peek at this because it is the first Vaesen campaign that has been released. And if you've seen some of my reviews for the Adventure supplements, actually, I kind of talk about how I don't feel Vaesen really incorporates really well into like long-term campaigns. So I am curious about this book. I wonder if it's going to address some of these shortcomings. So we are going to find out. Anyway, if you are tuning in because you want to check out this first look, I do want to make sure you're aware we tackle the tabletop gaming news first around here. So it's probably going to be about 35, maybe 40 minutes before we jump on into the Lost Mountain Saga. So if you are watching live, just kick back, relax, put your feet up, enjoy yourself. Welcome aboard. But if you happen to be watching 30 minutes or more after the stream has ended, there will be timestamps. They are located in the show notes. And depending on the device you might be utilizing to watch me right now, could be right there in the timeline of the video. So if you are watching after the stream has ended, you can jump past the news. Although I've got a lot of cool news tonight. I always do. But I understand if you're impatient and you just got to get a look at that book. Come on, it's Free League Publishing. We know it's usually good stuff. Good stuff, Maynard. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, because this is a live stream, that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you are a subscriber, have been for 48 hours, you want to say howdy. Maybe you've got a question, a comment. Maybe there's something about the Lost Mountain Saga that you want a closer look at. By all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend, the Motor City Madman. Yes, I'm not talking about Ted Nugent. No, he's an asshole. No, we're talking about our pal, the Madman from the Detroit area. He also happens to be one of our chat moderators. I certainly wouldn't give that sort of responsibility to Ted Nugent. I wouldn't even let him hold the remote of a television that did not work. Roger Perdome is with us, as is Testy Trekkie. So welcome, everybody. Yes, my little hiatus, my week-long hiatus is over. And it's really strange because I do 3 shows a week. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. But when I take a week off, I have far more than a week off. So the last live stream was actually on October 5th, and today's the 17th. Pretty wild. Hopefully you have been checking out my episodes of the Gaming Gang October Spooktacular 2023. For some strange reason, I don't know why, but every time I say Spooktacular, I have to do that with my hands. I can't stop it. It's uncontrollable. Yeah, I can control it, obviously enough. Something else I do want to mention before we jump on into the news is doing something a little different. Doing something a little bit different tonight. And you may actually see advertisements during the stream. And I'm not talking about the intermission video. So want to let you know about that. It's something I'm giving a shot. YouTube keeps banging me over the head to do it. And I was like, okay, well, we are losing that revenue because God knows I still haven't received the Planescape set from Wizards of the Coast. So anyway, Tessie Trekkie said, today is a Planescape overload, the new slipcase set and print-on-demand versions of all the old box sets arriving in the last 24 hours. The Lady of Pain is pleased. Well, it's nice to know Tessie Trekkie was able to at least get their purchase. Supposedly it's being sent on the 11th. I got an email asking me to confirm my shipping address. And it even said in the email, you are not going to receive this prior to release day. And also mentioned, I'm under no obligation to provide any coverage of it whatsoever. And trust me, I did consider that avenue, but I'm not that sort of person. So when it does arrive, which I wouldn't be shocked if it's sometime next week, I will be sharing coverage of it. We might actually do a live first look. We'll see. All depends. Anywho, welcome everyone. Let's jump on into the news because Nerdy Pup Games has 2 Dungeon Date spin-off games which are up for crowdfunding right now. I've got the scoop on Dungeon Date Delve and Dungeon Date Roll with Style. 2 new games in the Dungeon Date universe. Romance, Befriend, and Slay with Style in a tabletop role-playing game and Roll and Write, both compatible with the original card game. Dungeon Date is back with 2 brand new games in the same fantasy world of romance, friendship, and fashion. And let's not forget death. You kill some of the monsters. Dungeon Date Roll with Style is a roll and write game for 1 to 99 players. So you'll be SOL if you've got 100 or more players hanging around at your house. Anyway, it is print on demand at home. You can build a fashionable adventuring outfit, romance, befriend, and slay monsters, backstab or gain spite to change the odds in your favor. Perfect as a travel game or online play with 112 or, once again, those 99, or, well, let's say 100. Let's say as many as you damn well please to play. Dungeon Date Delves is a tabletop role-playing game where you play fresh-faced adventurers in the Delvers Guild, earning renown in a fantasy gig economy to become a top-tier dungeonista and fulfill your lifelong dream. Use 8 different styles to overcome obstacles in 6 dungeons And of course, romance, befriend, and slay the monsters you encounter along the way. Features a simple, easy-to-learn D6 system, no prep GMing tools, 6 fully illustrated dungeons, and tables full of monsters and treasure from the original card game you can add to your adventures. And of course, it is fully compatible with the original Dungeon Date card game. Use monster cards to set up endless new arrangements for the roll and write. Draw random monsters and treasures for the role-playing game using cards, and place them right on your character sheet to represent your adventuring outfit and active relationships. Hard tokens from the card game can even be used to track your character's health in the role-playing game. Now, of course, this Kickstarter also includes the original Dungeon Date game. In the Dungeon Date card game, play as fresh-faced adventurers to build a fashionable outfit and use your sweet, sweet style to romance, befriend, and, once again, slay a dungeon full of monsters. They sure love that word, slay. The original game contains the following components. Well, we're going to skip through that. Successfully funded on Kickstarter in 2021, Dungeon Date combines a fun, unique theme with quick play and meaningful decisions every turn. Actually, the game currently has a score of 8 over on Board Game Geek. There is a short video. It's not even a minute. It's a few seconds shorter than a minute, but let's give it a peek.
Dungeon Date, feels so great on a Dungeon Date. Dungeon Date is back, now as a tabletop role-playing game and a roll and write. In Dungeon Date Delves, become a fresh-faced adventurer working your way to the top of the Delvers Guild, using your sweet style to romance, befriend, and slay monsters to complete quests. In Dungeon Date Roll with Style, you and 2, 12, or 99 of your best friends build a stylish adventuring outfit and romance, befriend, and slay monsters with a roll of the dice. Miss the first game? Get the original Dungeon Date card game. Use the cards and components to enhance both the RPG and roll and write. They're compatible! Back all 3 games now on Kickstarter.
This Kickstarter is already past the 500% funding mark. I think it may have already gotten past the 600% funding mark. And you can reserve copies of both offerings, plus the original card game, for a pledge of $49. That's a pretty sweet deal. You can score the 2 new games as PDFs for a $15 pledge, or you can pick one or the other. There's a lot of different pledge levels there. This does run through Halloween. That's right, October 31st. And expected delivery is next October. Tessie Trekkie says the video was insipid. Hey, be nice. The folks over at Nerdy Pup Games are actually advertising on thegaminggang.com. Damn you, Tessie Trekkie. Away with you and your Planescape-ism. Actually, the folks over at Nerdy Pup Games are very nice. And yes, it is, it's not necessarily a video where you're like, oh my gosh, you gotta back this. But if you are curious about this and you want to head on over to the Kickstarter, do me a favor. Stop by thegaminggang.com first. You will see we've got a big old banner ad for this Kickstarter. Click on that, and then that'll take you to the Kickstarter. That way, just kind of helping me out as far as showing that there's engagement with that ad on the website. Flaming Heron is with us tonight. Good to see you. Roger Perdome had pointed out that hope that I had a good break. I got very little done. We were working on finishing up the deck, which is now done. It's stained and everything. Probably could use another coat of stain. And then, of course, now we've got a problem with the hot water heater. Yay! did get a few things done, but not as much as I wanted to. But I did enjoy my time off. I certainly did when I wasn't working on things that I'm not experienced with. When people have like problems with computers and software and video stuff, sound stuff, yeah, I'm right on top of that. I'm pretty well versed. Mechanical stuff? Nah. Not me. Not me. Vladimir here also points out you can check out thegaminggang.com while you're at it. Yes, I mean, I would think most of you in chat have actually swung by the website in the past. Moving on to our next news piece, now available for Delta Green from Arc Dream Publishing, is God's Teeth. And here's what's been declassified. Claimed by the god that feeds. In early 2001, a few agents of Delta Green face an evil too cruel to ignore. They can never turn back from what they see or what they must do to stop it. A night of death leaves them scarred forever. But even as one terror fades, another awakens. The agents find themselves beset by a power more frightful than Delta Green itself, a force beyond that hungers for unnatural death, a force that hunts horrors like a cat stalking prey, a force that has made the agents the instruments of its ceaseless devourings. God's Teeth follows the agents across nearly 20 years of dire history. There's Go Forth, set in 2001. The agents fall onto a long timeline of bitter choices and terrible repercussions. The Long Years, 2001 to 2016. The agents are recruited into the new Delta Green, the official program. Any number of scenarios might follow, and the agents are drawn to horrors. We've got Red Thoughts, 2016. Repercussions from Go Forth swim to the surface of public awareness, and the agents must push them down again. We also have White Teeth, also set in 2016. The agents must seek victims who survived that awful night of Go Forth and became monstrous themselves, murderous youths who work to sharpen the teeth. We've got The Spiral, 2016 to 2020. Terrors converge. The influence of the god that claims the agent seems only to grow. An FBI tip signals another threat resurrected from the sins of the past. And lastly, there's The Hidden God, set in 2020. As the world embraces plague, the agents must trace the consequences of their actions, confront impossible foes, and face the appalling force that cursed them. God's Teeth is played with Delta Green, the role-playing game. You can find fully playable quick start rules with the free download Delta Green Need to Know. So once again, this is another adventure. This is a campaign. You don't need the core books to run. All you need is a free Need to Know. That's pretty wild. That is really, really wild. And if you missed it, this month's edition of Why You Should Play tackles Delta Green. This 264-page campaign is available in PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. And I have to say, the cover of this just freaks the shit out of me. It almost looks like that kind of gray nun. When you first look at it, it looks like they're eating a finger, but it's not. If you take a closer look, it's like draining some essence out of, I think it's flowers or a flower. But when I first saw it, I swear I was like, oh my God, is that like chewing on a finger? Tessie Trekkie says, oh, I got the PDF of this and read it. Take the content warnings on the DriveThruRPG page seriously. Oh, always. I even mentioned that in the Why You Should Play video, that Delta Green is not for the kiddies. It's not for the tweens. It's not for the, the young teens. It is for adults. And there are many adult gamers who this is not for either. But if you like conspiratorial horror, can't go wrong with Delta Green, folks. Cannot go wrong. Moving right along, let's talk about saving some money, because right now, SoulMuppet Publishing has teamed with Bundle of Holding to offer a money-saving deal on the Best Left Buried role-playing game. And I got the deets on the deal. Crypt Digger! This all-new Best Left Buried bundle presents, you guessed it, Best Left Buried, the rules-light fantasy horror tabletop role-playing game from SoulMuppet Publishing, where the monsters are scary and the players are scared. Players take the role of crypt diggers, professional dungeon divers who venture underground in search of riches. Crypt diggers brave dark tunnels, solve cryptic puzzles, and face terrifying monsters. Characters who survive might be permanently changed by their experience. They're often broken, beaten, and diminished, as ruined as the crypts themselves. You can pay just $7.95 to get the DRM-free PDF Deeper Compilation, which was funded in a September 2020 Kickstarter campaign, and it features all 3 core books for the Best Left Buried line: The Crypt Digger's Guide to Survival, The Doomsayer's Guide to Horror, and The Hunter's Guide to Monsters, plus the free Best Left Behind Zine edition, along with 3 short expanded character option supplements: Ancestries, Consequences, and Heroic. And if you pay more than the current threshold price of $20.55, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 5 more adventures and supplements worth an additional $70, including the 308-page sandbox campaign, Throne of Avarice, and 4 old-school hex crawl modules: Beneath the Missing Sea, Darkling Seas of Islesmere, Spoils of the Gorgon Coast, and Spy in the House of Eth. Is that kind of like Spy in the House of Love? I wonder how many of you actually know that song or have heard that song. I'm going to guess 1. Plus me. And now off the top of my head, I can't remember who did it. I remember it being a good song, and it is a women-led band. Anyway, let's get back to the savings, because you can save loads on Best Left Buried. I reviewed the Best Left Buried Deeper, which has all 3 books in 1 volume. I thought it was great. I really did. It is so cool as a rules-light dungeon delving role-playing game. And there's a lot to really dig about it. These savings will run through October 30th. Kind of surprised, not Halloween, but the 30th. And 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. Hooray! I can't recommend this high enough. Even if you just want to pick up the first level, where you get the 3 core books plus the 3 optional supplements, and like it must be like the quick start rules. For $7.95 for that PDF, I got to say, I think just one of the core books alone is about that in PDF over at DriveThruRPG. So keep that in mind. Very, very nice. The Madman says they've had to scale back on horror descriptions for their Savage Worlds group. A couple of people needed to step out of the room. We talked it through, so I know where to draw a line. Damn! I'll talk about a little horror role-playing once we finish up the news. There are a few things that I'm going to tackle quickly tonight, or as quickly as I usually do things. Final news piece, now available in PDF from MCDM Productions, is Flee, Mortals. And here's the lowdown on this 5e bestiary. Our epic 5e monster book contains 339 stat blocks, plus new rules for action-oriented creatures, minions, companions, retainers, encounter building, and more. If a monster is big enough and bad enough to challenge an entire party on their own, or if it just makes sense for the Queen of the Goblins to be better than a normal goblin boss, we make a named, unique, action-oriented version of that monster. This is something we originally developed for the Chain of Acheron. The Black Iron Pact was the first test of this design. It was a success, and we've learned a lot since. Action-oriented monsters get special villain actions that allow them to act when it's not their turn, and they rely on spells much less. Old monsters, unboring. Duh. We love all the classic monsters: goblins, kobolds, orcs, giants, dragons. We just wish they were more fun to use. You're going to find more options. You'll find that these monsters are not just bags of hit points. Doesn't have a big list of spells. And there are new monsters for classic environments, as well as new rules and much, much more. Right now, you can score the 394-page Flea Mortals in hardcover with PDF for an MSRP of $69.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $39.99. Nice. I will be the first to point out, I have always heard really good things about Matt Colville's, I think that's his last name. I think. I don't really follow Matt. You know me. I don't like watch a lot of other videos. I'm too busy working on stuff. But I've always heard that the MCDM Productions releases are really, really nicely done. Now, I will be very open and honest here. I somehow received a PDF of this and the other new book that they've released. Problem is, I don't do reviews of PDFs. And Sammy really doesn't do 5e D&D reviews. So I would certainly absolutely welcome a copy of this in hardcover to share a video of and to be able to review. And the funny thing is, this is one of those situations where I'm like, oh, I'd really like to just, do the review of the PDF. But I swear, once I do one review of a PDF, it's over. It's done. Everybody's going to be like, well, how come you reviewed Matt Colville's book, but you won't review ours? You know what I mean, jelly beans. Russell Higgins is with us in chat. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. All right, so that is it for the news tonight. Before I switch out of these slides, images, whatever you want to consider them, got to also point out, really impressive artwork in this. I was like, whoa, this is pretty sweet stuff. Alrighty, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Don't forget, the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, Wargame Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And of course, all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. And I should point out, even if you see a banner ad for a site that you're not going to, say for an example, you see it's DriveThruRPG, but you want to go to DM's Guild, you can just click on the drive-thru banner. When you get to DriveThruRPG, look to the lower left, you'll see a list of all of the One Bookshelf sites. Click on DM's Guild there, and the affiliate code will transfer along with it. Important. So thank you for those of you who do use the banner ads, I should say. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. And big thanks to the madman who recently had stopped by paypal.me/thegaminggang and made a not so small donation. But if you want to swing by, you can always buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Yum, 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 yum. Big tip of the cap to those of you out there who use the drive-through banner ads and or visit paypal.me. Thank you very, very kindly. I should also thank Marwinius of York because he had recently stopped by paypal.me to make a donation also. So thank you very much. I always try to say thanks to the people who do that on the show. Okay, so let's see what's going on in chat, and then I'll kind of discuss a couple of quick things. Flaming Heron says they've noticed recently a lot more expensive PDFs as of late, at least in Australia. The Flea Immortals is almost $63. Get ready, here comes the F-bomb. Fuck. Man, ouch. It's a digital file. Come on. Man. That's rough. That is rough. Tessie Trekkie says we have hard policies in place that we rigorously enforce to minimize the whining. Tessie Trekkie says to Flaming Heron, their dollar is weak like a little wallaby. Jeez. Tessie Trekkie's also asking, do they have to stick their tongue out when they give the thumbs up? No, not necessarily. And yes, Flaming Heron says, keep Jeff in soda for life. Yes, I know. Diet soda is not good for you, but it's an addiction. What can I tell you? Anywho, a few things I wanted to mention. Once again, if you tuned in late, we are in the midst of Free League Publishing Week here at the Gaming Gang. So keep that in mind. You are going to see a lot of coverage of Free League Publishing releases. I've got some first looks for us, including tonight. I've got some reviews for us. I've got news. So yes, I figured, you know what? Let's just call this Free League Publishing Week. Nice. Also, if you're curious, no, I did not receive Planescape as of yet. It's supposed to be heading my way. Who knows? I don't know. To be honest, I really don't care. It's kind of the point where I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So there is that. And the other thing I was going to mention is that you may notice, I don't know, because this is the first time I've ever done this, but as you're tuning in tonight live, you may see ads during the stream. I don't know what it'll be like. It's, YouTube is automatically inserting them. I don't know what that's going to mean. But of course, if you watch after the fact, nothing's going to change because I actually insert ads into the live streams after the fact anyway. But just wanted to warn you, if suddenly you're watching and all of a sudden some ad pops up and you're like, what the? Never saw this before. Just giving it a shot, giving it a try. I don't know how it'll work. Let's see. Tessie Trekkie says, Free League for life. Flaming Heron asks, if I get copies of any of their Kickstarter releases, I don't get stuff when they go up on Kickstarter. So I have, if memory serves me correctly, I have never seen anything like ahead of time, right? Nobody has sent me, oh, hey, Jeff, here's the beta of whatever. I usually will get like a press kit. It's got images and sell sheet info about the Kickstarter and stuff like that. But no, I am never privy to like behind the scenes stuff. But you may recall when I did my first look at Twilight 2004E, I was the only person in the US who actually had a copy of that. That was pretty cool. They gave it to me, the gang over at Free League Publishing gave it to me at Gen Con. And they were like, hey, here you go. Don't let anybody know. So I was like, okay. Tessie Trekkie says, they're on YouTube Premium. What's an advertisement? I don't know. So that is what's cooking. Like I said, just a few quick things, nothing too exciting going on. I do have some stuff I'm going to be sharing tomorrow. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to share a first look at something I know a lot of people are very curious about. On tomorrow's show, I'll talk about it at the end of the show. It is not related to Free League Publishing, though, just so you know. All righty, then. We are going to be diving on into take a first look at Vaesen, the Lost Mountain Saga from Free League Publishing in just a couple of moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Sugar Bear Super Sugar Crisps, a real treat.
That's because it's coated with gold and sugar.
Did someone mention gold?
Pirate!
That's it, men. Scrape off all the golden stuff on Super Sugar Crisps. We'll soon have all the treasure we want. What's so funny, Bear?
That's gold and sugar on Super Sugar Crisp. It isn't a treasure.
It isn't?
It's a treat. So have Post Super Sugar Crisp cereal. It's part of a balanced breakfast, and it's coated with gold and sugar. But it's not a treasure.
It's a treat!
If you like really good coffee, why not spend the extra money and get 2 cans of Wilkins?
Why not?
We hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
I'm sorry, but Bela Lugosi was not showing up to that theater unless they were handing out free heroin. See Dracula in person, live from Hollywood. I got to kick out some of these old, like, horror show sort of theater ads that they'll run. Kind of funny. So Madman asks, if you rise from a sealed coffin, does that make it unsealed? I would think it would. I would think you cannot return it and get your money back. I think you're shit out of luck. And Darius Termina is with us in chat. I should also say hello to Miss Sarah D if she's watching. She's also one of our chat moderators if she's with us. So we do currently have a couple who have chimed in. Both the Madman and Fleming Heron are both chat moderators here. All righty. So without further ado, let's take a peek at Vaesen, the Lost Mountain Saga from Free League Publishing. It's written by Eleanor Di Lorenzo with Tomas Harenstam and Kiku Pak Harenstam. Artwork is provided by Johan Egerkrans and Anton Vitus. This 85-page hardcover with PDF is going to carry an MSRP of $39.99. The PDF should be available soon over at DriveThruRPG. I'm going to take a guess. It'll go for $19.99. We'll mention if you do pre-order this from Free League Publishing, you will receive the PDF immediately. So yeah, Sarah D is with us, says she's moderating the shadows. Yes, I'm busting out my spooktacular laugh. Yes, yes, yes. Lord Cost 2000 is also with us. So, and Darius mentions the main thing they want to know is if there are any new Vaesen stats in the book. I'm going to take a guess. There should be. Don't know for a fact, but I would think there should be. I don't know how many, but I think there'll be some. All right, all that said, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got the Lost Mountain Saga. I should point out that the fine folks over at Free League Publishing were kind enough to provide me this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. These days, it's very important that you know that. This is also an adventure book, so if your game master runs Vaesen, or maybe they're considering picking up the Lost Mountain Saga, I definitely recommend tune out now. Because even though I know nothing about this book, I haven't even read the back of the book. I mean, I know a little bit about it, but I don't know details. There's going to be spoilers. We'll see spoilers just from flipping through. Also, keep in mind, we're not going to look at each and every page of the Lost Mountain Saga, but I do want to give you a very good feel for what's in this adventure book. All righty? Good deal. And Darius Termina asks, is the cover the same canvas stuff? Well, it's not canvas, but it's got that matte finish, like all of the Vaesen books. Let's take a peek at the back. An ancient stone has been discovered in the dark caves of the mythic north. Protected for thousands of years by creatures no longer walking this earth, these sacred stones were never meant to be found. However, as is the nature of human curiosity and greed, exploitation soon begins with little regard for potential risks or consequences. Oh, that sounds like just about every human endeavor. The Lost Mountain Saga is an epic campaign of 5 mysteries for Vaesen Nordic horror role-playing. Players can expect to encounter ancient mysteries, old Nordic folk tales, social intrigue, and unspeakable horrors lurking in every shadow as they travel across the north and slowly uncover the truth. The Lost Mountain Saga is written by actor and podcaster Eleanor Di Lorenzo and based on her original podcast with the same name, but expanded and modified for this official release. The book is beautifully illustrated by Johan Egerkrans and Anton Vitus, who normally do the illustrations for the Vaesen books. And then it looks like we've got a quote from Eleanor there. We can kind of just skip that and jump on in. So one thing I forgot to mention during that little break before we do the intermission, I ran Call of Cthulhu Masks of Nyarlathotep during my break, and we got a huge chunk in the New York portion of the campaign done. So it was kind of a surprise. It was kind of last minute got a call a couple days beforehand. And it was like, yeah, everybody can play. And I have to give my nephew Cameron's girlfriend credit. She actually gave it a try. She didn't last the entire session. She was like, nah, this just isn't for me. But she did give it a shot. So kind of cool. All right, let's see what we've got here. The Lost Mountain Saga takes place over the course of a year of in-game time and is divided into 5 chapters. To truly make it your own as game master, you are encouraged to link the key NPCs to the player characters' backstories. If you want to prolong the campaign, you could add other mysteries and challenges from the other official or unofficial adventure books, as long as they fit within the timeline of the Lost Mountain Saga. As locations, events, and story of the Lost Mountain Saga are either loosely based on real events or completely made up, the possibilities are endless. Let the rule of fun and horror always guide your gameplay. So it appears as if a mine is opened at a location where these stones have been hidden. The Abisko mine. In the far north of Sweden lies the site of an abandoned iron mine in the mountains above the remote village of Abisko. Abisko? I don't know. Fleming Heron asks, bored or too scary? We've had this discussion before about younger people and their lack of imagination. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that if you don't read for pleasure, you don't really have much imagination. If all you do is watch a screen all the time where everything is provided to you visually, you've got some problems as far as having an imagination. I'm sure people out there will argue with me about this fact, but that's what I have found from my personal experience. So you could tell she wasn't getting into it. She couldn't picture what was going on. Fleming Heron said, kids need to read more. Kids need to read more for pleasure. That's for certain. And just like I was talking to my best friend Elliot after, because he played a couple of days later, and I had mentioned that as huge a hit as the Harry Potter series was, those weren't kids buying those books. Those were adults who made those massive bestsellers, not little kids. So, yeah, unfortunately, not enough young people read for enjoyment. Indarius points out last time they read a book for pleasure was high school, nearly a decade ago. Oh, I read and listen to audiobooks for pleasure every day, every night. Okay. Let's get back to the assignment at hand. The Lost Mountain in this adventure refers to the very real Laponian Gate that can be found in the Abisko National Park in northern Sweden. It's a U-shaped valley that resembles a gate or a portal, thus its name. Flaming Heron's like, sorry, continue. Hey, that's how the show is. We go off on side tracks all the time. So there's a mine catastrophe. The once prosperous mine ceased operations 10 years earlier after many workers were killed during a devastating accident, which it looks like was probably covered up by the corporation or the company, whoever, right? So we have these stones. They are the green stones. And the stones were once part of a giant. This is not known to anyone, not even other Vaesen or Vaesen. I'm going to stick to just saying Vaesen. And it's one of the big reveals of the entire saga. Well, there you go. Remember, I told everybody, if you're a player, there were going to be spoilers. Now, bang, there was a major spoiler in that sentence. How was I to know, right? Oh, that's kind of a cool map there. So there is a revenant. So it looks like we're getting the backstory here. Ah, okay. So they're aiming to reopen the mine. And Darius Terminus says, yep, it's a giant's bladder stone. I don't know if he's joking or not. The Madman says, my imagination is permanently working overtime. I don't let it loose in my gaming. It comes out in my dreams. Last couple of game nights have been canceled. My dreams have been relentless. Dun, dun, dun. So this is our first adventure. And okay, so first thing I'm going to point out, I do notice some of this artwork is recycled from other releases. Because this is the artwork from Seasons of Mystery, and I want to say it is The Devil on the Moor. And Darius says, they were joking. Hey, I don't know. I'm not from Sweden. So, you know, that could be, you know, old wives' tale or legend, you know, that these, you know, green stones are bladder stones from giants. It's a kidney stone, Jeff. So I'm going to mention that, unfortunately, and the giant, this image here we just saw, that's recycled. It's too bad. I always like to see completely original artwork. So, Duty and Despair. A couple of dark months have plagued the old mining town of Vaessen. Crops are withering, food is being spoiled, burnt corpses of wild animals are found around the nearby forest. I love when that happens. And eerie, unsettling whispers can be heard from the town's church. A man of deep faith and conviction, Reverend Basilius, decides to take matters into his own hands to rid the town of this satanic plague. Yes, the satanic panic is in full swing. I'm sure this is early 20th century, late 19th century, because that's kind of our Vaesen era. So the Reverend fears the damnation has already gone too far. Nice map of the town and the mine, or the area around that. Map of the mine. So as we're taking a peek through, I will point out that, yes, I am aware that we do find in the Vaesen releases a lot of white space. There's a lot of empty space on the pages, which is just, I guess it's just a graphic design decision that's been made with Free League Publishing. So, yes, it is unfortunate. It's something that we also see in a lot of the Tales from the Loop releases too. So is this the second adventure? Yes, it is. Also not original art. So I'm taking a guess that the artwork we're going to get to open each of these chapters is not new. And Darius says, I kind of like the white space, but I would appreciate a compressed pocket edition. That'd be fairly easy to be done. Now here it's not so bad. I mean, it really isn't. But just kind of flipping through this just to start off with, I can see that, yeah, there are some pages in here that look pretty almost empty in reality. And Darius says they like the pocket size, like Pathfinder. This adventure takes place immediately after the events that transpired in Duty and Despair. It is written a bit differently than a standard Vaesen mystery, focusing on information gathering and using the player character's social skills as opposed to solving a mystery related to a Vaesen. That's cool. I like that because I've mentioned in my reviews that Vaesen kind of comes off like Monster of the Week. And that's one of the reasons why I don't feel although I like the game, I like the mysteries, I don't feel it really meshes well for GMs and players who want to play long-term campaigns, because it is too Monster of the Week-ish. A decade after the accident that killed everyone on the site, it had been assumed that nothing of value existed in the old Abisko mine except iron. As iron can be extracted elsewhere, the mine in the area was largely forgotten. When Svea Mining Corp reopened the old mine, the initial response was one of mild curiosity. That curiosity only intensified when the new owners of the mine, ex-military officer Carl Magnuson and his new wife Sigrid Magnuson, put an entire region under the highest possible security and shielded the area from any outsiders. So it appears that those stones are being considered to be a rare and promising mineral. Bedlam at the asylum. Meanwhile, the Uppsala Asylum is having problems. A recent and unexplained uptick in patients has exceeded the institution's capacity. These patients have been sent by Svea Mining Corp after having worked at the Abisko mine. Dun, dun, dun. Working in the mine drove me mad. So we have our invitation. How are the player characters involved? What brings them onto the scene? An aspect of most of the Vaesen mysteries, adventures that I've encountered to this point is that even though they are kind of lighter in tone, I should say kind of, they are lighter in tone than, say, Call of Cthulhu adventures, and obviously enough Delta Green. I really do appreciate that if the player characters aren't successful, that the outcomes can be rather catastrophic. So I actually like that quite a lot. All right. I'm trying to remember if I've seen that artwork before. But thing is, I don't know if I've seen that with some of the artwork that was shared from this book. But for some reason, I think that's from an earlier book too. Okay, so next we have Where the Sun Dies. I don't recognize that. An island off the coast of northern Norway is in distress, and all previous rescue attempts have failed. As winter fast approaches, the authorities decide to hire a team of experts to discover the truth. What follows is one of the most dangerous missions the society has ever embarked on. Well, well, well. On the remote island of Royoya, I can barely speak English, so lots of luck with me pronouncing, foreign places. In the northern part of Norway lies an old fishing village named Sorlund. People have lived there for centuries, mostly minding their own business, trading with a few ships that passed by their little harbor. Then everything changed. Industrialization brought new interest from the mainland. Is part of the Lofoten archipelago, and its location is now seen as the perfect site for a new trading hub. This hub would service all northbound trading vessels, as well as create access for tourists to enjoy the area's unparalleled beauty. Its long white beaches and dramatic mountain peaks could even attract international travelers. How much you want to bet we're going to get the forces of nature going head to head with the forces of modernity or industry? That would be my stab in the dark. Gotta say, like the maps. The maps are pretty nice. As Indarius points out, that was a pretty nice asylum map. I agree. And they have that sort of look from that era, which I really like. They're not overly modern in style. The Lady of the Cold. Well, there we go. There's a new Vaesen. The Prince and the Witch. The player characters find themselves in the middle of a celebratory Uppsala. Happy, intoxicated students are everywhere, celebrating the return of spring, but they are once again dragged into a new mystery, this time involving a strange prince who is said to live in an enchanted castle. Interesting. So it looks as if we have a secret cult. The Vanadisir, a secret order that claims to be the descendants of the Norse goddess Freya, or Freyja. I always thought it was Freya. Additionally, they claim that Valborg used to be the blot sacrifice for Freya, and every year they hold their celebration next to the royal mounds of Old Uppsala, where the temple at Uppsala used to be located. Ooh, we're going to have some sacrifice going on? Bust out the Wicker Man. So as I was talking about how one of the aspects I always like about many of the adventures for Vaesen is that the dire consequences of failure. Here, you'll always have a section in the adventure which talks about countdown and catastrophe. And it kind of walks you through the process of like the breakdown of what's happening. Well, we have a Viking Ghost Warrior, so that's a new stat block. That's kind of cool. Once again, I think I've seen that one too. The Old Witch Hedvig. Then we've got the Lost Mountain Saga, our titular adventure. It says this is the final chapter of the Lost Mountain Saga. It is time. Good luck. So we have some of the characters carrying over from other adventures earlier. Very nice, very cool. Looks like we still have that mine tied into all of this. This is the last and final chapter of the Lost Mountain Saga, which means it is the final mystery, and the outcome will have global repercussions. There are several conflicts that are each important. The main one being between the ambitious... All right. And Darius says, I always say Freyja. Yeah. Once again, me and fictional people, places, and things. Yeah, I'll mispronounce them all. Oh, it looks like somebody's going to try to blow up the mine because it says the big bomb, the bigger bomb. All right, so I just saw a big major spoiler at the end there, which hopefully I flipped past soon enough because, like I said, I try to stay spoiler-free in these. All right, so we've got our handouts here. And that is a look inside the Lost Mountain Saga for Vaesen from Free League Publishing. Yes, we are in the midst of our Free League Publishing week. Now, I should mention that I am unable to review this until October 31st. There is an embargo on reviews for the Lost Mountain Saga. Once again, this 85-page hardcover with PDF carries an MSRP of $39.99. It arrives in stores on October 31st. So there is an embargo on reviews until release day. So if you're wondering, hey, Jeff, where's that review for the Lost Mountain Saga? Now you'll know, you'll see it on Halloween. Should point out, if you order this from Free League Publishing, and I think they have a bits and mortar program, if I remember correctly, you'll get the PDF pretty much immediately. So keep that in mind if you are looking to get this in PDF with the hardcover. You can get the PDF just about as soon as you order. Now, if you're only looking at picking up the PDF itself, you will find it available on DriveThruRPG in the very near future. My guess is it will carry an MSRP of $19.99. Just a stab in the dark. All righty, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central here on YouTube. It'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review, it'll be up tomorrow, of Tales from the Loop. They grow up so fast, as part of our Free League Publishing Week. So stay tuned for that. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. On tomorrow's show, we are going to dive in. We're going to take a first look, take a bit of a deep dive into Starfinder Enhanced from Paizo Inc. This just showed up about 45 minutes before I began the stream. So I am planning on quickly shooting my Paizo preview video for October early tomorrow. Might not necessarily get it up tomorrow, but I will shoot it tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we're going to take a peek inside because I know there are a lot of people very curious about Starfinder Enhanced, especially with the knowledge that we are getting a second edition of Starfinder in about a year and a half. Because the playtest is going to go live at Gen Con 2024, and the planned release for second edition Starfinder is Gen Con of 2025. So I'm sure there are people who are curious out there, you know, should they pick up this enhanced book? Second edition is coming on the horizon. Yeah, in 2025. So, I mean, I can see where people are coming from, though. And then on Thursday's show, the Free League Publishing Week continues as we're going to take a look at Davokar Awakens for Symborim. I guess that's how people tell me I should pronounce it. Because I always say Symborim, but they're like, oh, no, it's supposed to be Symborim. This is the finale to the, I want to say, I think it's Crown of Thorns campaign. Let's double check. Oh, sorry. Chronicle of the Thorn of Thrones campaign. So this is chapter 6. I'll be the first to point out, I actually don't really have the other chapters. I think I might have one of them. So Sammy's actually working on reviews because she has PDFs of all of these. But this is the conclusion. We'll be taking a peek inside, but I really don't know anything about this campaign. I'm being honest. Alrighty, so we got some fun stuff up ahead for the rest of the week. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, big tip of the cap, because not only are you keeping me company, you keep each other company while I'm paging through a role-playing game book or unboxing a board game. But of course, I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the YouTube channel. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Be sure to catch the Gaming Gang October Spooktacular 2023. There will be a fresh episode tonight at midnight Chicago time. And until I see you next time, here's hoping you always get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.